Okay, so picture this.
Yeah.
You're stuck in traffic, right? Like totally stuck. The minutes are just ticking by, and you have that appointment, that one that you absolutely cannot be late for, and it's rapidly approaching.
Yeah, I've been there.
Sounds familiar.
Definitely.
Well, I recently found myself in a pretty similar predicament. But here's the thing. Instead of letting that frustration, the kind that just eats at you, consume me, I took a deep breath, and I just thought, okay, so I can't control the traffic, right? Like that's beyond me, but I can control how I respond to it.
Yeah, that's huge.
And it turns out there's actually a whole philosophy dedicated to this kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Like it's been guiding people for centuries.
That's wild. What is it?
Stoicism. And lucky for us, in this deep dive, that's what we're diving into. We're going to unpack its wisdom, see how you can use it to kind of navigate, the ups and downs of everyday life. Because let's face it, there are a lot of ups and downs.
There really are. So what's fascinating to me about Stoicism is that it's not about, like suppressing your emotions or trying to force some kind of artificial sense of calm.
No, definitely not.
It's more about recognizing the difference between what we can actually control and what we can't.
Yeah.
And then making that conscious choice to focus our energy on what truly matters, where we can actually make a difference.
Exactly. So it's about taking that traffic jam, right? That metaphorical roadblock in all our lives. And rather than just letting it completely derail us, we can use it. We can use it as an opportunity to practice choosing our response.
Yes, exactly. We always have a choice. Even when it doesn't feel like it, take that frustrating traffic jam again. You
Yes.
could totally give in to that anger and frustration, be totally justified in doing so.
Oh, yeah.
Or you could use that time to maybe listen to a podcast, enjoy a few minutes of quiet reflection, or even who knows, you might discover an awesome new song on the radio.
I love that.
The choice, it's always ours.
It is. It's about finding that sense of control, even when things just feel completely outside our control, you know? But how does Stoicism, how does it take us beyond just managing those daily frustrations? How does it actually help us find more contentment in our lives? Really find that contentment?
Well, that's where another core principle of Stoicism comes in.
Okay, what's that?
Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Yes. So in today's world, it's so easy to get caught up, right? In that constant desire for more. A newer phone, a bigger house, whatever it is.
Oh, the list goes on.
It totally does.
Yeah.
But the Stoics, they offer a really powerful antidote to this trap.
You mean gratitude for what we already have?
Hmm.
Because it sounds so simple. But how do we actually cultivate it in a way that truly sticks? How do we make it last?
It's about making it a daily practice, not just something we think about every once in a while when things are good.
Got it.
Imagine just starting your day by reflecting on one thing, just one small thing that you're grateful for. It could be your health, a supportive friend, even just having a roof over your head.
Yeah.
By shifting our focus from what's missing in our lives to what we already have.
Right.
That's how we open ourselves up to this whole new level of contentment and peace.
It's shifting from a scarcity mindset to one of abundance.
Exactly. And honestly, that shift in perspective, it's incredibly powerful. It allows us to find joy in the present moment, rather than constantly chasing after something else.
It reminds me of that saying, happiness is not having what you want, it's wanting what you have. But let's be honest, life isn't always, smooth sailing. So how does Stoicism equip us to handle those inevitable challenges, the setbacks that we all face?
That's where the Stoic concept of resilience comes in. Now, this isn't about, slapping on a fake smile and pretending everything's fine when it's not.
Right.
It's about acknowledging those difficult emotions, the frustration, the disappointment, all of it, but not letting those emotions just completely paralyze us.
So it's more about processing those emotions, actually learning from them, and then using them as fuel to move forward.
Precisely. The Stoics had this remarkable way of viewing obstacles. They saw them as opportunities for growth. Imagine facing a setback, like losing a job. It's a big one, right?
Yeah, huge.
Instead of being totally consumed by despair, you could choose to view it as a chance to reevaluate your career path, learn new skills, or maybe even pursue some long-forgotten passion.
It's about reframing those negative events and looking for the hidden opportunity within the challenge.
Exactly. And this whole concept of resilience, it's particularly relevant in today's fast-paced world, where change is constant and uncertainty just seems to be the only constant sometimes.
It's like the Stoics were preparing us for the world we live in today, centuries ago.
Indeed. Their wisdom has stood the test of time for a reason. And speaking of navigating the complexities of modern life, there's another Stoic principle that I think is incredibly relevant.
Let's hear it.
The idea of living in the present moment.
Oh, now this is a big one, especially in our hyper-connected, always-on world with our inboxes overflowing and notifications buzzing constantly.
Yeah.
It's easy to feel like we're always on, always rushing to the next thing.
It's true.
How does Stoicism address this? What can we do?
It encourages us to cultivate present moment awareness, not by clearing our schedules or becoming hermits, but by simply becoming more conscious of where our attention is going, where are we focusing our energy.
Right.
The Stoics were really big on actionable advice, and they gave some really effective techniques for bringing ourselves back to the present.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What kind of techniques are we talking about?
Well, one that comes to mind is focusing on our breath. I know it sounds simple, almost too simple.
Wow.
But taking a few conscious breaths can be incredibly grounding. It's like hitting the reset button on our minds, allowing us to step away from that whirlwind of thoughts about the past and worries about the future. And when we bring ourselves back to the present moment, that's when we open ourselves up to experiencing life more fully. We can actually appreciate the beauty and richness that so often goes unnoticed when we're stuck in our own heads.
It's like that saying, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. But speaking of things that are often overlooked, there's one final principle of Stoicism we should touch on in this part of our deep dive, and I'll be honest, it's a bit more challenging to embrace.
Yeah, what's that?
The idea of impermanence.
Oh, yeah. That one's tough.
I'll admit, this one can be tough to stomach. It's just natural for us to crave permanence, to want the good things in life to just last forever. But the Stoics remind us that change, well, it's an inherent part of life. It's what makes life's tapestry so intricate and beautiful.
Precisely. And while it's tempting to cling tightly to things, trying to keep them exactly as they are, this often leads to more suffering when those inevitable changes occur.
So are you saying we should just passively accept that everything is, fleeting and there's nothing we can do about it? That seems a little, well, passive.
Not at all. It's not about becoming detached or indifferent to the things and people we cherish, It's about recognizing that clinging too tightly, trying to freeze time and prevent any change, can actually amplify our suffering when those changes inevitably, happen.
So it's more about finding that sweet spot between appreciating what we have without becoming overly attached.
Yeah.
Easier said than done, right?
It takes practice. Absolutely. Think about a time when you had to let go of something significant, maybe moving away from a beloved city or ending a relationship that had run its course. These are natural parts of life, but they can be incredibly tough.
Oh, those big life transitions are definitely up there on the difficulty scale. But I can see how embracing the idea that change is a natural part of life, even those painful changes, could help us navigate those experiences with a bit more grace and acceptance.
Exactly. Instead of resisting the change, we can learn to accept it, to see the opportunity for growth and new beginnings that often lie on the other side of loss. And by letting go with, open hands, we create space for new experiences, new joys to enter our lives.
It's like that saying, the only constant is change. But instead of fearing it, we can learn to move with it, to see the beauty in the impermanence of it all.
Beautifully put. It's about recognizing that each moment, whether joyful or sorrowful, is a fleeting gift. And by embracing the impermanence of it all, we can savor those moments more deeply, appreciate the preciousness of life's tapestry, even as it unfolds and transforms.
It's interesting how these Stoic principles seem to connect and build upon each other. We started with that traffic jam scenario, talking about controlling our reactions. And now we're exploring how accepting impermanence can actually lead to a deeper appreciation for the present moment.
That's a great observation. They really are interconnected. When we practice gratitude for what we have, we're more likely to find joy in the present moment. And when we embrace the present moment, we're better equipped to handle whatever challenges come our way with resilience.
It's like Stoicism provides us with this incredible toolkit, a set of practices we can use to navigate the complexities of life with more wisdom, grace, and resilience.
And the best part is, you don't have to become a Stoic scholar or memorize a bunch of rules to benefit from these principles.
Right? You can start incorporating them into your life gradually, one step at a time.
Exactly. Even small changes can make a big difference. Try starting your day with a gratitude practice, or use your next commute to practice some mindful breathing. You might be surprised by the impact it has.
It's about taking these ancient principles and finding ways to make them relevant, and applicable to our modern lives.
And that's what's so brilliant about Stoicism. It's not some rigid dogma stuck in the past. It's a flexible and adaptable philosophy that can be tailored to meet the unique challenges of our time.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Stoicism, what's the key takeaway you hope our listener walks away with today?
That's a great question. I think the most important thing to remember is that Stoicism isn't about becoming a detached philosopher or memorizing a set of rules. It's about taking these principles, focusing on what we can control, practicing gratitude, cultivating resilience, embracing the present moment, and accepting impermanence, and weaving them into the fabric of our daily lives. It's about finding ways to make these principles work for you in your own unique way.
It's about empowering ourselves to live more fulfilling and meaningful lives, even amidst the inevitable ups and downs.
Exactly. And remember, Stoicism is a journey, not a destination. There's always more to learn, more to explore, but even these small steps can make a world of difference.
Absolutely. And who knows, this deep dive may have just sparked a lifelong fascination with Stoicism. It certainly has for me.
Right.
As we've been exploring these Stoic principles, I can't help but think back to that traffic jam I mentioned earlier. It's like a microcosm of life itself.
Yeah.
Those moments when things are completely out of our control and we're kind of forced to confront our own reactions.
It is. It's a perfect analogy.
Right.
Because in those moments, we see the essence of Stoicism, in action. Do we allow those external circumstances, the traffic, the deadlines, those unexpected challenges, to dictate our emotional state? Or do we choose to focus on what we can control? Our thoughts, our responses, our perspective.
It's like that old saying, you can't always control the waves, but you can learn to surf. And Stoicism seems to provide those surfing lessons, those tools for navigating the inevitable turbulence of life.
Precisely. And remember, it's not about becoming impervious to those waves, to those challenges.
Right.
It's about building our resilience,
Okay.
our ability to bounce back, to learn and grow from those experiences.
It's about finding the opportunity within the obstacle.
Mhm.
So for our listener who's been on this Stoic journey with us today, I want to leave you with this. Think about a challenge you're currently facing. Big or small, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
Imagine approaching that challenge through the lens of Stoicism.
What aspects of that situation are truly within your control? How could you shift your perspective to find a sense of gratitude, even amidst the difficulty? And how could you use this experience as an opportunity for growth and resilience?
The answers might surprise you. And who knows, maybe this deep dive, maybe it's sparked a curiosity, a desire to kind of explore the wisdom of Stoicism a little bit further.
It's a journey well worth taking. And remember, you don't have to embark on it alone. There are countless resources available, books, articles, online communities, all dedicated to helping people connect with and apply these timeless principles in their own lives.
This deep dive has been, it's been a fascinating exploration for me, and I really hope our listeners have found it just as insightful and empowering. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the ideas that matter most.